One significant change in Nepal's healthcare system, हजुरले for the past 5 years, होइन, आफूले देखेको चाहिँ, one or a few changes, instant changes that we could make. What do you think it is?
फलामको शक्ति र गुणले भरिएको प्राइम बिलेटबाट बनेको कार्बन, म्याङ्गनिज, सल्फर र फस्फोरसको सन्तुलित सम्मिश्रण भएको, आकारमा समानता अनि तौलमा एकरूपता रहेको, गुणस्तरमा उत्कृष्ट, हरेक निर्माणको मेरुदण्ड, पञ्चकन्या 500 XT र 550 XT.
And one of the reasons that having technology and professionals who are trained to use that technology available in Nepal will hopefully कतिपय डाक्टर साहबहरू अब त्यहाँ बाहिर I'll go abroad and train in robotics, or I'll go train in something else. So if that's already available in Nepal, then you don't have to go through that hassle of doing a lot of exams and applications and spending a lot of time to go abroad to get that training that's available in your own country. After family-सँग बसेर, after country बसेर, you could get that opportunity. So it kind of reduces that brain drain, because once you leave and begin to settle abroad, because the system is geared for your success abroad once you get into the system, and particularly once you start kind of making roots in terms of young family and your children start going to school and so on and so forth, then it's very unlikely, highly unlikely that you're going to come back. So I think if we can create an environment, and this is just an example, then it will play a big role for the country. You're kind of retained a lot of talent within your country, and may also create an environment where those who are already abroad, who are kind of thinking, okay, should I go back or not?
Like yourself.
Then they find look, they, for example, in robotics, so it's already in Nepal, so I could go and kind of work in XYZ hospital, whether it's private or government or whatever, and I could be satisfied professionally to say that I'm using my experience and my skill in doing something good.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate satisfaction at the end of the day. One significant change in Nepal's healthcare system, हजुरले for the past 5 years, होइन, आफूले देखेको चाहिँ, one or a few changes, instant changes that we could make. What do you think it is? Instant, like छिटोभन्दा छिटो गर्न सक्ने चेन्ज. किन मैले यो सोधेँ भन्दाखेरि अहिले हाम्रो देशको सरकार अलि अर्कै खाले सरकार छ कि, अहिले के भन्छ यसलाई, फास्ट ट्र्याक खाले सरकार छ होइन, केही समयको लागि केही कुरा चेन्जेस ल्याउनु छ भने चेन्जेस हुन पनि सक्छ कि. म हजुरलाई एउटा इक्जाम्पल दिन्छु होइन. हामी यहाँ बसेका थियौँ, एकजना डाक्टर साहब र म यहाँ बसेका थियौँ, अनि डाक्टर साहबले मसँग चित्त दुखाउनु भयो. डाक्टर साहबले के भन्नुभयो भन्दाखेरि, कुरै कुरामा के कुरा निस्क्यो भन्दाखेरि, मेरो क्लिनिकमा एकजना एकदम सानो उमेरको होइन, सानो उमेरको चाहिँ एकजना महिला आउनुभयो. उहाँलाई अलिकति समस्या भयो, अनि हामीले चेक गर्दाखेरि उहाँले अनेस्टली भन्नुभयो कि उहाँको चाहिँ नेपालीमा मैले कम्प्लिटली नाम बिर्सेँ, उहाँको एग चाहिँ निकालिएको रहेछ, उहाँले बेच्नु भएको रहेछ होइन. के भन्छ यसलाई, डिम्मा भन्छ, इफ आइ एम नट मिस्टेकन, चाहिँ उहाँले बेच्नु परेको रहेछ. भेरी यङ गर्ल. अनि पढाइको लागि चाहिँ मैले बेचेँ होइन, मैले चाहिँ गएर चाहिँ पढाइको लागि चाहिँ मैले यो अस्पतालमा चाहिँ अथवा एबिसी ठाउँमा चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ लगेर बेचेँ भन्दाखेरि जो डाक्टर साहब आउनुभयो उहाँको एकदमै मन त छुन्छ नि त कि अ यङ पर्सन ह्याड टु सेल हर एग फर एडुकेसन होइन. लङ स्टोरी सर्ट, केही समय पश्चात चाहिँ अब अहिले यो सरकारले चाहिँ एटलिस्ट यो सरकार आएको बेलामा चाहिँ त्यो कुरा चाहिँ उठिसकेपछि होइन, त्यो कुरामा चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ धेरै काउन्टर मेजर्सहरू चाहिँ अपनाउन थालेको छ होइन. अफकोर्स देयर इज अ केस गोइङ अन एन्ड लट अफ थिङ्स गोइङ अन होइन. तर अब आउने भनौँ न, अब भविष्यमा चाहिँ कोही युवाले चाहिँ आफ्नो अन्डा गएर चाहिँ बेच्नु पर्दैन नि त होइन, अथवा उहाँलाई अवेरनेस आउँछ अथवा उहाँलाई चाहिँ बेच्न दिइँदैन होइन. त्यो लेभलको चेन्ज त आयो भनेर चाहिँ एटलिस्ट that's one change that we try to raise awareness from this show होइन. So anything that you actually think is something that you've come in and you've seen that we could actually implement that can be done by the current government or the future government, which you think is going to benefit everybody, especially healthcare workers? मैले हजुरलाई एकदम स्पटमा राखेँ अहिले. इन्टरनेसनल स्ट्यान्डर्डको हिसाबले पनि.
I mean, you put me on the spot. I can't think of one specific thing.
Thousands of things.
There's a lot of different things, and all those little things can add up to make a big difference. And so, for example, I would say probably a few things.
Okay.
Radical changes are sign and all. For example, how can we, on the one hand, reduce the kind of brain drain, if you like, people who are kind of in medicine or surgery going abroad. Yestै किसिमको चाहिँ सर्भिसहरु चाहिँ यही अवेलेबल गराइदिनु पर्यो, कटिङ एज टेक्नोलोजीहरु. अनि त्यसको लागि चाहिँ अब के गभर्नमेन्ट लेभलबाट चाहिँ सपोर्ट हुन्छ हैन. त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ they don't need to look for those kind of training opportunities going to India or Singapore or Europe or the US or Australia, because त्यहाँ गएपछि probably 98-99% of the time they're not going to come back हैन. त्यो लस भयो हैन. एउटा कुरा त्यो भयो. अनि दोस्रो कुरा चाहिँ the flip side of that is, you know, if someone's already there for the last they went there 5 years ago and they haven't quite settled there and they're thinking of coming back, you know, how can you create an environment for them to come back? Obviously, your system or they feel more comfortable, but only to regulatory हिसाबमा पनि यो चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ सजिलो गराइदियो भने चाहिँ whether they want to be at an academic institution, उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ हैन अब आफ्नो पढेको कुराहरु आफूले चाहिँ ट्रेन गरेको आफ्नो एक्सपिरियन्सहरु चाहिँ त्यहाँ शेयर गर्न चाहिँ सजिलो बनाइदिने environment, whether it's academic positions हैन अब यो युनिभर्सिटीमा टिचिङ हस्पिटलहरुमा. And if you, I think, set up a kind of favorable position where they don't find it difficult to make an entry at a proportional level through their experience, academic achievement, or I know whatever that is.
Outsider feel garden.
So yeah. So I think that's another way that you can kind of incentivize and get people to feel that they want to come back. You know, that they are supported by everyone to bring their kind of expertise back and share it with fellow colleagues.
License ko hisabले ke huँदो रहेछ डाक्टर साहब? Just say, for example, you stayed there for such a long time, right? Once you came back, you had to give another exam to be a part of the Nepali system. के कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ?
Absolutely, because I've never worked in Nepal before. So, for example, I'm licensed to work in the UK, European license, UK license, which automatically means that a lot of countries, and whether it's the Middle East or Australia or Singapore or Canada, you're allowed to work very easily. You'll get a license very easily in that specialty. Secondly, then you have a separate system in the US where you do need to go through their system, because everyone in the rest of the world is trying to perhaps get in the US. So obviously, naturally, they have a kind of their own system, which is a very rigorous process of a lot of exams, which everyone has to go through. So obviously, US open license. So if you have that level of accreditation worldwide where you practice and where you have the license, then I think it's useful to have that recognized in a kind of seamless way, so that you feel welcome and you don't spend a lot of time trying to kind of negotiate the exam process. But so I think those things need to be in place. I think there are already a lot of amendments which have been made in the last few years through the good work of the NMC, and I'm sure they will continue to make those amendments to improve our system, to make it more easy for those who are outside to feel more welcome and to come and provide this service in Nepal.
And I'm glad that you decided to come back, despite of being anywhere in the world. You could make a life for yourself anywhere in the planet, and probably not go through the hardships that I'm sure you've gone through here, but you've decided to come back and you've decided to serve Nepal. And त्यसको लागि चाहिँ thank you so much for doing what you do. And we'll talk more again in the future as well. Anything that I missed out, I didn't want to get into specific details of specific things, which I'll leave it to next time. After a couple of months, we'll sit again and I'll leave it to that. Anything that I missed out, anything that you want to talk about?
I think we've covered a lot.
We covered a lot of things.
Covered a lot of stuff. So, including my personal journey, my family, my
everything.
So I think we've covered a lot of stuff.
Fantastic. You keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for your service. And I want to say thank you to my brother Kalyan for making this possible. Thank you so much, Dr. Pratik. And please, best of luck. त्यो मेटबट अनि त्यो डाभिन्ची र त्यो मन्त्र चाहिँ देशैभरि ल्याउन सक्यो भने चाहिँ म सबसे खुसी हुन्थेँ र हजुरले सबैलाई ट्रेन गराउनु भयो भने त आई थिङ्क एटलिस्ट वी वान
I think we can get there within the next few years.
Done. And then that's the thing that we're going to try to make it work. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जोय गर्नुभयो होला अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ युट्युबमा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला